fun එක next level කරන dialogue fan blaster.
Tonight, on First at 9 this Wednesday, the 8th of January 2025. Forex inflow. Central Bank Governor asks government to prioritize Forex inflow. Plans reveal to introduce benchmark exchange rate.
Purpose, we hope to introduce what they call benchmark spot exchange rate as a reflective rate to guide participants.
Rohingya refugees. Over 100,000 Rohingya refugees en route to Sri Lanka. Public Security Minister highlights challenges to Sri Lanka. Untapped market. Sri Lanka has failed to break into the science and technology market, highlights the president. Japanese development. Japan's cooperation agency pledges commitment to support Sri Lanka's development priorities.
Chilo Dairy, Sri Lankawama Kiren Perata. ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දෙනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
කණ්ඩ පරිස්සම් කරගත්තොත් අපි පරිස්සම්.
Asian Paints Causeway Aquasafe වැස්සත් මට්ටුවෙන් ගෙදරත් තිස්නේ.
This is Derana First at 9, live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9 on Sri Lanka's premium news provider, Derana 24. I'm Taridu Mahendra, joining you live with the latest developments of the day. In your top story tonight, Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe says Sri Lanka's economy is estimated to have expanded by 5% in 2024, recording the highest growth since 2017. Announcing CBSL's policy agenda for 2025 and beyond today, the governor also stated that leading economic indicators in the industry and service sectors reflect continued expansion in output during the last quarter of 2024. The governor further emphasized that in 2025, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka is committed to increasing its foreign reserves and called on government to prioritize bringing more foreign exchange into the country. Dr. Veerasinghe also revealed CBSL's plans to introduce a benchmark spot exchange rate as a guiding reference for participants in the forex market.
During the first three quarters of 2024, economy is estimated to have grown notably by 5.2%, which is much higher than what we originally expected, with major key economic sectors recording expansions. Building on the momentum in the economic activity, leading economic indicators of industry and service sectors, the two largest sectors, reflect a continuation of the expansion in output of last quarter 2024 as well. So numbers will be out soon. Accordingly, the real GDP growth for 2024 is now projected to have grown by around 5%, registering the highest growth since 2017 that we had close to 5%. The higher than expected growth also provided evidence in deflation in recent months was not due to demand factor, but mainly due to supply side factors, including administrative price adjustments. Low interest rates environment coupled with adequate levels of market liquidity supported the economy to progress through its recovery phase. Accordingly, these enabling conditions encourage consumer spending that we are seeing picking up and promoted investment that led to basis for the economy, but investment still there's some more space to grow going forward. On the external sector, continued its positive momentum in 2024, building renowned resilience in the sector. The balance of payment position strengthened, and the current account is estimated to have recorded surplus in 2024 as well, a record of 2 consecutive years of surplus in the recent history. So, Central Bank purchased the highest ever annual amount of foreign exchange from the domestic financial market in 2024, exceeding $2.8 billion on a net basis. Gross official reserves increased to around $6.1 billion by in 2024. We are confident that we can build up more. Central Bank focus going forward obviously will continue to be on maintaining stable inflation around the target of 5% that we agreed with the Minister of Finance, while ensuring that the economy remains on track towards achieving sustained growth over the medium term, thereby ensuring prosperity for the nation. This low and stable inflation is essential condition. Recovery in credit to the private sector has been supported by the noteworthy reduction in market interest rates. However, the central bank observes some excessive outlier rates of interest on facilities extended to MSMEs as well as marginal borrowers and certain credit products which are not consistent with the prevailing relaxed monetary policy stance. Moreover, risks associated with lending are on the decline while the credit appetite of the banks and financial institutions is improving given the overall stability and the recovery that we are seeing. Therefore, with the view to making low interest rates credit accessible, central bank will closely work with banks and the financial institutions to reduce any excessive margins on interest rates that still prevailing in certain market rates to ensure that inflation is kept low and stable with the view to promoting overall public welfare. It's an important objective. Amidst this development, to ensure that domestic savings are promoted in a low interest rate environment, the financial industry is encouraged to introduce innovative solutions and products to promote savings in the context of rapidly aging population, while also embedding elements of liquidity and safety to compensate for interest rate volatility during business cycle. Meanwhile, the central bank will explore ways to gradually phase out our holdings of restructured bonds. We are large around 2.6 trillion, a legacy of the central bank finance support to the government during the crisis. So we have to unwind gradually over a period of time. Central bank is in the process of reviewing the current reserve requirement in line with the international best practices. Required changes will be implemented following stakeholder consultation. Obviously, we consult the stakeholders, banks and other market players to optimize the SRR framework for the benefit of effective monetary policy implementation and the overall financial system. Further, the central bank plans to transition to a more market-friendly system through open market operations in this year with the view to effectively manage implementing the monetary policy under the single policy interest rate mechanism. In addition, the central bank will enhance the liquidity forecasting framework. That's an important agenda for us to be able to ability to properly forecast liquidity in the interbank market and explore alternative approaches to manage money market liquidity in line with the flexible interest rate framework that will continue to improve. The external current account is likely to record a deficit in this year. That's necessary for the when economy is picking up. Sri Lanka needs to maintain external current account at a sustainable level. So I think maintaining current account deficit of 1 to 2 years is not a challenge. We can easily manage, but that's why we need to manage that current account deficit going forward. We will continue to strive towards key commitment of rebuilding external buffers under the program by purchasing forex from the market and building more resilient and buffers. This build-up of external buffers needs to be facilitated by sufficient foreign exchange inflows to the country by way of enhanced earnings of foreign exchange, both all from merchandise, service exports, or remittances, foreign direct investments. Those are the important areas that government need to focus on promoting for us to be able to build buffers for the central bank. Due attention will be given to strengthening risk mitigating aspects to ensure the safety of invested foreign reserves. That's our responsibility to generate safety and return of the increasing reserves that we manage. Aligning with our mandate, Central Bank is committed to maintain a market-determined and flexible exchange rate, serve as a buffer against external shocks, if there's any, with interventions aimed at building up reserves and mitigating excess volatility in the exchange market. Obviously, the exchange market should be able to stand in shocks and have smoothen out volatility. For this purpose, we hope to introduce what they call benchmark spot exchange rate as a reflective rate to guide participants in the domestic foreign market, and which much more transparently information available to all the players as well as to the general public.
President Anura Dissanayake called for the establishment of a mechanism to refund withholding taxes deducted from retirees who are not subject to income tax. During discussions with officials from the Ministry of Finance, the head of state also called for a balanced approach to address concerns surrounding vehicle imports into Sri Lanka and announced plans to implement a digital system to improve tax compliance and revenue generation. During discussions with officials from the Ministry of Finance at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday, President Anura Dissanayake emphasised the need for a well-balanced approach to address concerns surrounding vehicle imports into Sri Lanka, taking into account the country's financial constraints and economic priorities. The President's office said the head of state also highlighted the importance of establishing a mechanism to refund withholding taxes deducted from retirees who are not subject to income tax. Additionally, President Dissanayake highlighted the urgent need to digitize VAT collection processes to enhance efficiency and transparency and announced plans to implement a comprehensive digital system soon, which is expected to improve tax compliance and revenue generation. The president expressed optimism about Sri Lanka's economic progress, stating that the country is steadily moving towards recovery and stability, and reiterated government's commitment to maximizing the benefits provided to citizens even amidst current challenges.
Union Assurance.
Welcome to Cinnamon Life, South Asia's biggest entertainment hub, where awe awaits.
චන්දුරුසුනේ කාගෙන් මන අපේ සිංහ TV සඳහා සුපිරි ඩීල්.
Sadaharita Plantations Limited, celebrating 22 years of your trust.
Crunchy goodness for hunger on the go.
Senior Vice President of the Japan International Cooperation Agency, Shohei Hara, extended the agency's commitment to supporting Sri Lanka's development priorities, including the completion of the JICA-funded Bandaranaike International Airport expansion project. He made these comments during a meeting with Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya at the Parliamentary Complex. Meanwhile, during a tour of the Port of Colombo, the JICA Senior Vice President reaffirmed the agency's commitment to supporting Sri Lanka's port infrastructure. Senior Vice President of the Japan International Cooperation Agency, Shohei Hara, paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya at the Parliamentary Complex yesterday, during which he extended JICA's commitment to supporting Sri Lanka's development priorities. Key areas of discussion included debt restructuring, the completion of the JICA-funded Bandaranaike International Airport expansion project, and potential avenues for enhanced collaboration between Sri Lanka and Japan. Prime Minister Dr. Amarasuriya, meanwhile, expressed appreciation for Japan's support and reaffirmed government's focus on poverty alleviation, digitization and the Clean Sri Lanka initiative. Meanwhile, a high-level delegation from JICA led by Senior Vice President Shohei Hara visited the Port of Colombo yesterday to assess the progress of current operations and review the impact of previous JICA-funded projects such as the JI Container Terminal and the Unity Container Terminal. The Sri Lanka Ports Authority said the JICA delegation expressed appreciation for the Ports Authority's efforts to maximize the impact of JICA-funded projects and reaffirmed its commitment to supporting Sri Lanka's port infrastructure. Discussions were also held on potential future collaborations aimed at further enhancing the port's capacity and sustainability. Today marks the 126th birth anniversary of Sri Lanka's fourth Prime Minister and founder of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, the late SWRD Bandaranaike. This year too, two separate events were held in commemoration of the late SWRD Bandaranaike at the Bandaranaike Memorial near Goldface Green. The 126th birth anniversary of the fourth Prime Minister of Sri Lanka and founder of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, the late SWRD Bandaranaike, was celebrated this morning near the SWRD Bandaranaike Memorial near Goldface Green. These ceremonies saw the participation of former Presidents Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga and Maithripala Sirisena and other members of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
නැවත මේ පක්ෂය ශක්තිමත් කරගත්තොත් රටට හොඳයි. නඩු ඔක්කොම ඉවත් කරගන්න. පක්ෂයට ආදරේ හැමෝම දැන් නඩු අයින් කරගෙමින් යනවා. මෛත්‍රීපාල ජනාධිපතිතුමා තිබුණු නඩු ඔක්කොම අයින් කරගෙන තියෙනවනේ.
ඔබතුමා දේශපාලනයේ සමුගර
නෑ මම අයින් වෙලා නෑ මම ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂ.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂේ නායකත්වයට එනවාද ඉදිරියේදී?
කවුරු නායකත්වයට ආවොත් මම සහයෝගය දෙනවා.
ඒ කියන්නේ ඔබ නායකත්වයේදී ලයින් වෙනවා.
පාක්ෂිකෙක් විදියට මම වැඩ කරනවා සහයෝගය දෙනවා.
Meanwhile, a group led by parliamentarian Dayasiri Jayasekara arrived at the Bandaranaike Memorial after the ceremony and paid floral tributes.
No, I didn't receive any such invitation from the party. However, we do not need anyone else's approval to pay tribute to the late SWRD Bandaranaike. Any member of the SLFP can visit the premises to pay tribute to the late Prime Minister. We experienced this fate despite supporting the party's decision. We never betrayed our party to obtain ministerial portfolios. Therefore, we can work together if needed.
එකතු වෙන්න යනවා කියලා කියන ඔබ යනවාද හෙට අනිද්දා හෙට
නෑ සාකච්ඡා තියෙනවා බලමු අපි කතා කරලා කොහොමද ඉස්සරහට යන්නේ කියලා මොකද පල්ලෙහා පාක්ෂිකයෝ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා අලුත් වැඩපිළිවෙලක් අලුත් නායකත්වයක්
ඒ නායකත්වයට ඔබතුමා
බලමු ඉතින් අපි පාක්ෂිකයන්ගේ කැමැත්ත තමයි අවසාන තීන්දුව බවට පත් වෙන්නේ.
Fast track your career from O levels with eSoft.
ඩයබටිසෝල් සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට අමතක නොවන පෝෂණය.
Prime Group ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වතාවට හඳුන්වා දෙන land leasing ලේසියෙන් මීටමක්.
Single 1111 up to 60% off from the 11th November to the 17th of November.
Kalani wire කිසි ගින්නක් නැහැ.
කිසි ගින්නක් නැහැ. Kalani Fire Shield Wire.
and get up to 25% discount on Arpico Foam and Spring mattresses. Available at Arpico Supercenters.
Crunchy goodness for hunger on the go.
The family of murdered Sri Lankan journalist Lasantha Wickrematunge expressed hope that the incumbent government would uncover the truth behind Wickrematunge's murder and deliver justice. Speaking to media following the 16th memorial service of the late Lasantha Wickrematunge today, his brother Lal Wickrematunge said none of the previous regimes had a political incentive to investigate the incident. Lasantha Manilal Wickrematunge, a senior journalist and chief editor of the Sunday Leader newspaper, was murdered on the 8th of January 2009. The 16th memorial service of the late Lasantha Wickrematunge was held this morning at the Borala Cemetery. Family, friends and political figures gathered at the Borala Cemetery in remembrance of the late journalist.
We hope
that the government led by President Anro Disanayake will uncover the truth behind this incident and deliver justice. A fresh probe is not essential for the matter, as former CID Director Shani Abesekara had uncovered a lot of information concerning this assassination. They even knew the personal details of those involved in this murder.
President Anura Disanayake expresses government's commitment to achieving new heights with a transition to an innovation hub. Speaking at the launching ceremony of the National Initiative for R&D Commercialization, the head of state highlighted the importance of acquiring rapid technological growth in order to reach the open global market.
In comparison to technological advancements in the world, we have failed to achieve such developments. We are focused on the tea, rubber and coconut industries. We remain narrow-minded. Countries that acquire rapid technological advancements will become the most powerful. It is imperative that we innovate in order to acquire part of the open global market. As a government, we are committed to reach new heights through innovation. We are confident in this step forward and we will definitely reach success.
A 3-month grace period has been granted for private bus owners to remove unnecessary additional modifications installed in buses. Meanwhile, speaking to media, representatives of the automobile components industry highlighted that a significant revenue can be earned through vehicle modifications and claimed that Sri Lanka would be abandoning a growing global market if it stops utilizing vehicle modifications. On the 2nd of January, Sri Lanka Police initiated an island-wide operation of removing illegal modifications from motor vehicles in line with the government's Clean Sri Lanka program. Against this backdrop, bus operators associations reached an agreement to launch an island-wide strike action today, objecting to the actions of the police, claiming that undue pressure is being exerted on bus operators. However, before launching the strike action, representatives of bus operators associations engaged in a discussion with Acting Inspector General of Police Priyantha Veerasurya at the police headquarters this morning. Following the discussion, the bus operators associations announced their decision to suspend the planned strike action as the Acting Inspector General of Police provided a 3-month grace period for the removal of illegal installations from buses.
පුලිස්පතිතුමා ප්‍රකාශ කරා මාස 3ක කාලයක් මොනවද හවි කිරීම වලට කරන්න ඕන මොනවද බස් රථවල ඉවත් කරන්න ඕන කියන කාරණාව පිළිබඳව දීර්ඝ සාකච්ඡාවක් රාජ්‍ය ආයතන මට්ටමින් සාකච්ඡා කරලා අපිට මේ කාරණාව පිළිබඳව දැනුම් දීමක් කරන්න ඒ වෙනකන් බස් රථවල අනවසර හවි කිරීම කියලා හඳුන්වන ඒවා ඉවත් කිරීම අවශ්‍ය නැහැ කියන කාරණාව පුලිස්පතිතුමා අපිට කිව්වා. ඒ වගේම අපිට මේ කාරණා සම්බන්ධයෙන් ප්‍රධාන කාරණාවලට අපිට සෑහීමකට පත්විය හැකි ආකාරයට පිළිතුරු ලැබෙන නිසා අපි අද මධ්‍යම රාත්‍රී 12 සිට පවත්වන්න නියමිතව තිබුණු අපේ වර්ජනය අපි తాවකාලිකව අත්හිටුවනවා.
Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Police continue to inspect motor vehicles across all police divisions today as part of the ongoing Clean Sri Lanka National Initiative. Against this backdrop, those involved in the production of vehicle accessories convened a media briefing to express their views on the Clean Sri Lanka initiative.
මේ රත් සම්බන්ධයෙන් මේ කරන අලංකාර කිරීම හරි ඇක්සසරයිස් කරනකොට ගේන ඒවා
හැම එකකටම ලංකාවේ රජයට ආදායමක් යනවා. ඒක ගේන්න පුළුවන් නම් විකුණන්න පුළුවන් නම් හයි කරගෙන දුවන්න බැරි වෙන විදියක් නැහැ නේ. මේ යකඩ කෑලි ගහනවා ඊට පස්සේ ටෙන්ට් රෙදි ගහනවා ස්ටිකර් අලවනවා. එතකොට මේ වගේ ඉතා විශාල ප්‍රමාණයකට රැකියා අහිමි වෙනවා. අනිත් එක මේ මුළු ලෝකේ ලොකු ට්‍රෙන්ඩ් එකක් තියෙනවා. ක්ලාසික් කාර් රෙස්ටෝරේෂන් තියෙනවා. පරණ කාර් රෙස්ටෝර් කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඒවා සමහරක් වෙලාවට වෙන රටවල් වලට අපනයනයත් කරනවා. මේ අපි මේ ඉන්ටර්නැෂනල් ග්ලෝබල් තියෙන ට්‍රෙන්ඩ් එකකට තනිකර විරුද්ධව තමයි යන්නේ.
විශේෂයෙන්ම ත්‍රිරෝද රථ සම්බන්ධව ගත්තාම මම ප්‍රධාන ඇමතිවරයා හැටියට ඉන්න කාලේ අපි පත් කරපු විශේෂඥ කමිටුවක් විසින් මේ ත්‍රිරෝද රථ සඳහා එකතු කළ හැකි අංගෝපාංග 30ක් නීති ආනුකූල තත්වයට ගැසට් කරලා පත් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒක පොලිසියෙන් ඉවත් කළ නොහැකි මොඩිෆිකේෂන් එක. දැන් රජය මේක දැනුවත් නොකර තමයි මේ තියෙන සියලුම අංගෝපාංගයන් විශේෂයෙන්ම ත්‍රිරෝද රථ වලින් ඉවත් කරන්න කියලා කියන්නේ.
Welcome back. In Parliament today, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuri asserted that no government institution has granted authorization for the construction of Israeli religious institutions or similar establishments in Sri Lanka. Responding to a claim by SJB parliamentarian Mujibur Rahman that a security forces protection is given to such sites, the Premier said due action will be taken. Meanwhile, the Minister of Public Security Anand Vijaypal revealed that according to ongoing investigations and intelligence reports, an estimated 100,000 Myanmar refugees are expected to reach Sri Lanka in the coming days.
We see that there is a genuine goal of forming a new society in shaping a new citizen through government's Clean Sri Lanka initiative. What is your agenda to win all sectors, including education and the media?
මේ රජය බලයට පත්වෙන්නේ මේ අභියෝග වලට මුහුණ දෙන්න සූදානමින්. ඒතකොට එහෙම පරිවර්තනයක් කරන්න යනකොට කරන්න උත්සාහ කරනකොට ඒකට අභියෝග එනවා. ඒකට විරුද්ධ වෙන කණ්ඩායම් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක යථාර්ථයක්. හැබැයි අපි කිසිසේත් අපේ වැඩසටහන් මේ පරිවර්තනයට විරුද්ධ වන අයගේ ඇජෙන්ඩා එකට යටත් වෙලා කරන්නේ. ඒ වගේම ගරු කතානායකතුමනි පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ දින දෙකක් ක්ලීන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා පිළිබඳ විවාදයක් ලබා දීමටත් අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
වර්තමානයේ අපගේ විදේශ ප්‍රතිපත්තිය තුල ජාතික ආරක්ෂාව
We observe that the current foreign policy is posing a threat to national security. The recent incident involving Israeli tourists in Arugambe is an example. Has permission been granted to build religious or similar institutions for Israelis in Sri Lanka? If so, where?
නැගීමට අවසර ලබා තිබේද? එසේනම් මේ කුමන ප්‍රදේශවලද?
ඊශ්‍රායල් ජාතිකයන් ආගමික මධ්‍යස්ථාන හෝ හා ඒ සමාන ස්ථාන ගොඩනැගීම සඳහා මේ දක්වා බුද්ධ ශාසන ආගමික හා සංස්කෘතික කටයුතු අමාත්‍යාංශය හෝ ඒ යටතේ පවතින දෙපාර්තමේන්තු මගින් අවසර ලබා දීමක් සිදු කර නැහැ. නමුත් ඒකත් අපි දන්නවා එවැනි මධ්‍යස්ථාන පවත්වාගෙන යන බව අපිට තොරතුරු ලැබිලා තියෙනවා. ඒ පිළිබඳවත් මේ වෙනකොට මොකද්ද සිදු කළ යුත්තේ කියන එක පිළිබඳව අපි ඒක සාකච්ඡා කරමින් ඒවා නවත්තන්න අපි මොකද්ද කළ යුත්තේ කියන එක විදේශ කටයුතු අමාත්‍යාංශය මගිනුත් මැදිහත් වීමක් සිද්ධ වෙනවා.
අද වෙනකොට පැහැදිලිවම ලංකාවේ ප්‍රදේශ ගණනාවක මේ
Constructions of these Israeli religious and cultural centers are currently ongoing with the permission of the Ministry of Public Security. These are constructions taking place in Matara, Waligama, Dehiwala and Colombo 7. Additionally, the police and the STF are reportedly providing 24-hour security to these sites.
ආරක්ෂාව සපයනවා.
මේවා අවසරයෙන් පවත්වාගෙන යන මධ්‍යස්ථාන නෙවෙයි. ඒ පිළිබඳ ක්‍රියාමාර්ග අපි ඉතාමත්ම ඉක්මනින් ගන්නවා.
116ක් මියන්මාර් අනවසර සංක්‍රමිකයන් රටට ඇතුල් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන්
119 Myanmar refugees arrived in Sri Lanka by paying money to smugglers. They have paid around 500,000 in their currency for these boat trip. According to police investigations and intelligence reports, about 100,000 more refugees are expected to arrive in Sri Lanka in the coming days. This is becoming a significant social issue for our country.
අපේ රටේ සමාජ ප්‍රශ්නයක් හැටියට හඳුනා ගන්න. මේ වගේ තරුණයන් කීපය
It would be a grave crime to deport these refugees, including children, back to Myanmar.
පිටුවහල් කිරීමක් ගැන අපි
There is no discussion on deporting them. What we have stated is that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has held discussions with the government of Myanmar.
අපි සඳහන් කරේ
The Hawala and Undia system are not illegal in our country, but they are not regulated in any way. Therefore, a proposal has been made requiring those who conduct international transactions through these systems to register within the 12-month period from June 2024 to May 2025.
In In business news, the GEM Sri Lanka 2025 Gem and Jewellery Exhibition was inaugurated in Bentota today. Organised annually by the Chinese Fort Gem and Jewellery Traders Association, the exhibition will be open to the public for 3 days from today until the 10th of January. The exhibition was inaugurated by President Anura Dissanayake earlier this morning. Following the opening, President Dissanayake toured the exhibition booths and engaged in discussions with industry stakeholders addressing challenges faced by gem and jewellery manufacturers. Fitch Ratings says that the underwriting profitability for Sri Lankan non-life insurers will gradually improve as they enhance practices and shift focus to more profitable non-motor segments. Issuing a report, the agency says that this shift includes adjusting policy pricing, particularly for motor and medical insurance, to better cope with inflation and rising claim costs. Fitch believes that investment and liquidity risks have decreased following the upgrade of Sri Lanka's sovereign rating in December 2024. Meanwhile, the rating agency also said that the upcoming implementation of IFRS 17 in January 2026 is likely to enhance transparency and comparability in the insurance market. The Colombo Stock Exchange experienced a day of positive sentiment and recovery after 3 consecutive days of losses. Up next, we have Nisha Pereira from Capital Alliance with the stock market update.
Colombo Stock Exchange concluded on a positive note today after 3 consecutive negative market sessions. The market closed at 15,954 points, marking a 99-point increase from yesterday's closing. The turnover for the day was relatively low, with 5.2 billion rupees and 154 million shares traded at today's session, noting a slight slowdown on the market. The SL20 index also noted an increase of 35 points to end the day at 4,824 points. Institutional interest was observed in blue chip counters and banking counters.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of First at 9. Thank you for joining and have a good night.